get our here. Our ongoing. Click in the clack analog device and WordPress.com. Material that can get you introduced to the whole method. The stream is having trouble loading up. I'm not sure whether or not there's going to be anybody in the stream or whether or not I will be able to see them. If there are, we will find out. There was a little bit of dicey about getting the stream started up this time, so cross fingers we'll get what we can. As you know, we're continuing our scholarly analysis of text, which includes this time delving into history that is occasioned by the latest issues of Acts and Facts, their November-December 2025 edition that brings up a character that I've never heard of before in a context that makes me exceedingly suspicious about his background and somebody that we can keep track of as time passes. Anyway, knowledge bird evolution, and they mentioned the police system, muscle, supercolloides, muscle of birds, which is really evolvable. How could it have emerged out of the biology of extant organisms? But they offered absolutely nothing in the way of serious technical aid. Instead, they waived, of all things, a peripheral creationist book by Bija Sodara from 2003. Unfortunately, we don't have the whole book to fill with, but I'll be putting a link up to his website that indicates it's a lot of stuff. And if there were no technical literature, muscles in birds and vertebrates generally, and how all these things happen, and the degree to which they're just beginning to understand genes do what, when, and all, which would be necessary in order to be able to work out binary scenario. You can immediately start by looking outside of Sarfatian tape. So, for one, is somebody who's been researching this field for a long time, and a paper that just did in 2021, which is all access. I'm putting a link up here to see his analysis and how much he's. And then there's another one that's contemporary S&T's book, so we don't know whether or not they could have been aware of it before publication. But at any rate, it's a fun cross-compare. Pittman et al. 2022 on muscle systems. Developmental biology of muscle is really neat because of the potential shifts that are going to be happening are happening at the microevolutionary level. And it's not an easy out in terms of even extant organisms, papers that are kind of relating to the indication of just data collection stage. There's one that's been at it for quite some time, Tokita and Schneider from 2009, on the factors that affect species-specific muscle layouts, specific birds, so you can get a sense of the kinds of factors that in working out why one species of birds has a slightly different musculature and a genetic system than another. Trying to extrapolate all the way back to the bird origins and the earth of the ornithines, and all the little sidebar flyers taking place at that time without genetic information be able to look at because none of them are surviving, gives an indication of how difficult the task is. But we're not even getting creation. The creation model where everything's only a few thousand years old. By gosh, show it, or cite papers where that's been done within their creationist community. Nope. So, offering a recent paper almost pertaining to trunk muscles in vertebrae. Each one of these things are indicated of each has discovered and laid out, and then that you work out the adaptive evolutionary development of these. In principle, yeah, they'll be able to do that probably paleogenomic creationist to pay attention to. That it didn't even occur to Sarfati and Tay to try to offer serious technical documentation in this area. And of course, they didn't have any regular creationist material to be able to offer in defense of the creationist case. I'm still trying to see a little wheelie going around on whether the stream is actually activated. So no idea. We may only be able to get people coming once the show is up to speed. Now, our part 2 in this area is a very curious item from, again, that Act Facts issue. And it refers to a new creationist that's popped up on the scene that proved to be kind of interesting as to what he may or may not be presenting and in what contexts. So it's a fellow, Michael Boyle, and the article in question is Designed to Fill the Waters, which is referencing to a lot of invertebrate evolution, a lot of gee whiz stuff. Invertebrates confirm the Genesis flood. They don't really. But at any rate, what was intriguing were the number of source citations that were involved, which are technical literature. Some of it very old indeed, 1980s, 1971, 1981. All the newer material, pretty much, is relating to himself. He is the author in this area, and it's in regular scientific literature. But fun to kind of look to see what was going on behind this 2025 summary article, Origins and Diversification of Marine Invertebrates, the Atlas of Marine Invertebrates, which he's one of the authors of. Presumably, he's knowledgeable in this field, fine dandy. But I was with 2 chapters in here, a co-authored introduction that's 8 long, and then a 30 subject diversification of marine invertebrate larvae. Unfortunately, brand new books, so we do not have the vast breakdown of the and now is it decided of the categories that were involved. For phylogeny, definition, page 73. Phylogenetic hypotheses of Metazoa, 72, 92. Phylogenetic inference, 74. Phylogenetic systematics, same page, 74. Primary pelagobenthic life cycle, 75 to 76, 94F. Well, guess where all those pages are? That's in. So that is literally the only discussion topics is coming up in his generic summary, which we do not have the text of. Then the other one, the other shoe to drop, concerned fossil evidence, pages 72 to 73, 2 pages, same article by him. Evolutionary developmental biology, Evo Devo, page 72, same article by him. Then there's one listing for evolution of polypi development in ancestral. That's page 335. That's presumably somebody other than him. So here he is, fossil evidence. He's being published in Acts and Facts. He's a young Earth creationist. So I would be absolutely fascinated to see what exactly he was saying on the fossil record and evolutionary phylogeny. Who was he citing, if anybody? How was this structured? Presumably not revealing his own proclivities as being a young Earth creationist. Probably not. But nonetheless, would there be cherry picking involved in this text? Because the book is brand new. We don't have any information coming out on this specifically. I put this as a little Q sidebar. If anybody does, in fact, have access to this book, Boyle, Michael, C.M. Young, M.A. Sewell, Atlas of Marine Invertebrate Larvae from Cambridge University Press. That's the source in question. Get us informed on this, because I would be very curious to know what his position is. It's hopeful that as we move farther down the stream, we'll be able to get information on this, and we'll find out whether or not he does other posts, X and Facts or elsewhere. He doesn't seem to be a ridiculously young man. He maybe 45, maybe 50. So he's been around quite a while. But yet he's popping in on this scene and has one foot in standard biology, publishing Cambridge University stuff, and other foot in the creationist worldview where he is compartmentalizing things. So we'll be able to see in due course how this comes along, whether he publishes other stuff in other journals, Journal of Creation, Creation Research Society Quarterly, Answers Research Journal, any of those things, or generic posts, and whether or not he ever ventures outside the invertebrate envelope. Remember, an awful lot of invertebrates have poor fossil record. Does he discuss that aspect on the, 2 pages in question that he's covering the stuff, which may not even be a full page. I mean, if it's the bottom of page 72 and going up to the middle of page 73, it may only be a page long. Who knows? That's going to be an interesting little bar to see this new character on the creationist scene. And I'm still seeing Wheelie Arrow going around on the stream, so I have no idea if anybody is checking the show or not, because it's up on our chat window. Well, we're 11 minutes in here. We basically covered the material that's going to be in the show, and the links that we'll be putting up available for everybody to look at. First one this week. And let's put our advert up for Rock. Once I'm done, whether or not we've getting a little bit of Restream. Cancel the play. Share